Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We're going to talk about something today that can really transform your life for the better. And it's something that is so easy, but something that's overlooked by many of us. And that is, it sounds so simple and rhetorical, but taking time for yourself, taking care of yourself. Self-care comes up in many different shapes and forms. And we're going to look at that today in three different areas: mind, body, and spirit. And she's somebody that helps people navigate a lot of things within their lives as an amazing psychotherapist, psychologist, couples, individuals, families, everybody that needs to kind of figure life out. She helps you in that journey. And Creekmore joins us on the program today. Welcome back. How are you doing?
Good, Steve. How are you?
I'm good, and I look forward to the weekend because that's my reset button, and that's where I try to include some self-care, whatever it might be.
Absolutely.
It's easier said than done. Like, we can all say, yeah, take some time for yourself. We all have busy schedules. It's hard to find that time. But, in talking with this today, maybe we can identify some of those things that we can and should be doing that maybe we'd overlook when it comes to self-care. Why don't we start? We said body, mind, and spirit. Why don't we start with the body? Things that we can do. Certainly taking time to work out. So I did that today. What are some of the other things that we should be mindful of?
Well, sleep is very important.
Yeah.
Trying to get your good 8 hours. I know 7 is considered reasonable, but if you can go for 8 hours, that can make a big difference in terms of your anxiety, your depression. And so it's like, when somebody comes in for any kind of problem, they're having depression, anxiety, whatever, that's one of the first things that I look at is to say, well, how are you sleeping and how many hours and what seems to be the problems and what can help with that, because that can make all the difference in feeling, feeling depressed or anxious if you can get the right amount of sleep.
Again, that one sounds so easy, but it's easier said than done. So many of us have sleep challenges nowadays. And yeah, without proper sleep, you can't truly function. You can't think clear. You can't deal with challenges and situations. I'll tell you, I had a busy week the week before as well. And last night I was like, I wonder if I'm getting sick. I feel a little off. I don't know what it is. It was sleep. I got a better night's sleep last night, and that was it. That was that, all good.
Wake up feeling good. So it's kind of like, try to find the time to have some downtime, supposedly non-screen time, right before bed, and do the things that are going to make you feel comfortable, make it cool enough and dark enough, and no problems talked about, get yourself worked up before bed at all. Just kind of have a down, relaxed time.
Yeah.
And then just see, that you've taken care of that, because that'll start, like you said, start the day off great if you're feeling, rested.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, because a lot of friends of mine that have sleep challenges are also the friends that are sitting there on their phone looking at reels and videos on TikTok and Snap. So
Yeah.
you have to power it down. And even watching TV, all right, if it works for you to fall asleep while you're watching TV, great. But maybe you might want to not do that. Try it. Try something different if you're feeling that you're not getting a full restful night of sleep.
Exactly. There's a good book. I forget the exact title now, but about cognitive behavioral therapy for sleep, for insomnia, and for sleep, and that has a lot in it of different strategies.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think about that. And also, when we talk about the body and the self-care, going for a massage, if you can do it, I highly suggest it. And it doesn't even, I don't, the spa experience, I don't really do that. I will many times go to a foot massage place that I trust, and they're good.
Right.
They may not be certified, but they get the job done of just, working out some knots, and very affordable. And you know what? It's a nice hour.
Right. Now, did you say a foot massage, like reflexology? Or maybe I misheard it.
Yeah, we have
Yeah,
them in
because
our
they're
area.
doing the reflexology because that's based on, the nerve endings within the feet or the hands, and they really do correspond through the anatomy to the nerves at um, different parts of your body. Like, I mean, if you're pressing on this part, it may be relieving the neck or the head muscles. That nerve is going all the way up, and so like a foot massage with reflexology can be very helpful for your whole body.
And those places will also not just do your feet. If you ask, they'll do, I usually go for an hour and I'll say, just work my shoulders and my upper back, 30 minutes and then feet for 30 minutes. I kind of break it up and
Right.
great. Sounds very affordable. Just another way,
Yeah, it reduces your anxiety and any pain. Because it's hard to be happy if you're in pain, so that's another on the physical to take care of. Like, is there some kind of physical problems or pain that you're having, and to take the time to get the help that you need, like you do, your shoulders or your neck or whatever, then you go and get your massage or reflexology or find out what will help.
Gotcha. All right. So any more thoughts on body for self-care that we can do?
Well, I would mention, like hypnosis can be good, very good for sleep and relaxation. Hypnosis, you could get the suggestions that you're going to have 8 hours sleep and you're going to wake up feeling rested and there's no nightmares in between, or wake up, and that works. And then couple it with for anxiety or depression, positive thinking and feeling relaxed, and for pain as well. You can use the hypnosis for that. That's pretty effective.
Okay. Yeah. There's many different modalities, from hypnotherapy, of course, um, meeting with a psychologist like yourself, those types of things to help our mind. Um, you know, self-care, other areas for our mind. What can we do?
For our mind. Well, in general, though, it's good to realize that therapy in general, there's kind of still maybe a stigma at times about therapy. But if you can, realize that can go in just for anything, for any kind of self-care to make your life satisfying, that, you just come in and talk about your problems, you have someone to vent and and get an objective perspective that, can help you to be able to reduce your problems in living. And it doesn't have to be like you've got a mental problem going in. You just want to get the help and be able to talk to somebody and get that other perspective, or get the different ideas of things. Breath work could be another one, just learning like triangular breathing is very relaxing. You can imagine a triangle. And as you imagine the triangle, you breathe up, inhale, and down the right side triangle, you're breathing, exhaling. And then at the bottom of the triangle, just stop and say rest, relax, and just pause. And you can put little mantras to that. I mean, you could say, going up, you could breathe, say hold, relax. But if you're going up again, just breathe up and say peace, and then down, peace. And then hold, relax, say, be still, relax, and that's something that you can do and practice several times a day, once in the morning when you kind of wake up and you're so relaxed and maybe going to sleep or something. And that's the kind of thing that can help you stay in a peaceful, place through the day. So as if you approach a difficult situation, like, oh no, I got to go talk to my boss about this, or I've got to go talk to my wife and my husband about this. And, maybe there's going to be a little confrontation or friction, that you can do that breath work. Once you've gotten your body in the mode to do that, you can do the breath work before you're going in. You're driving into work. Well, I'm just going to follow my breath, and keep going. And as you go in to talk, you keep breathing. You're breathing. It doesn't look funny to anybody. Nobody knows you're doing a triangular breathing, but you can stay at a very calm, After about a minute of doing that, you get into a different zone where you're just feeling inner peace, and that you can bring that right with you into a difficult situation and keep it at a comfortable level for yourself, rather than go into a panic attack as you're moving into the situation. You can't do it once you're in a panic attack. It's good to do breath, but it's good to be able to keep yourself calm in general before you get there. And so if you practice it regularly, then your body's naturally will just go there, even though you're heading into a stressful situation.
I think we minimize the importance of breathing and how it's scientifically proven that it can make a difference in our lives. Like, we don't even look at what's going on. Can we put the microscope on that for just a moment? What's happening when you pause for a second, you deep breathe? I love the triangle visual. Wow. That's
people. Yeah.
I love
it. On something else. Yes.
I'm so used to the count. I forget whether it's 7, 4, 7, whatever it is.
Yes.
There's a whole bunch of different ones. I don't like to count while I'm breathing because I'm not focusing on breathing. I'm focusing on 1, 2, 3. But the triangle, I can totally see it and coming back down again and around. That's really, really good.
Nice. Thank you. Yes, I think it is. And I like it too. At the bottom of it, when you're at the bottom, you're just pausing, then you're just resting. You're saying rest. You just have that moment of peace or rest. Sometimes some of the breathing, it will hold it at the top, breathe up and hold and then go down. But it seems to me, it breaks it up. So I like it when you're going up and then down, and then you're at the bottom, you're just saying rest, peace, just say relax to yourself then, and then you really get to feel that peace. Yeah.
What's going on? I think it's called the parasympathetic nerve and all of that. What's happening when we intentionally take time to breathe?
Well, we really are. In fact, I can relate this to the hypnosis, because what hypnosis actually is putting your own self. You get nice and relaxed, right? Just thinking. It's just so. The hypnosis is like, I say when I do the induction for hypnosis, that you're really putting yourself in a little trance. You're meditating. And so just the act of following your breath during hypnosis, breathing in the good, breathing out cares, just being with your breath, not controlling it, just in and out. You get yourself to a very relaxed state where, your blood pressure's going down, you're relaxed, you're very still, there's no pressure on you. Your heart rate is starting to go down, and you're just getting yourself in a nice, relaxed, peaceful state during the hypnosis. And I think that's one of the reasons, even beyond the affirmations and the positive suggestions that you hear that you want, that we work out before doing the hypnosis, that what the person wants to work on. But just the act of them putting themselves in that relaxed state is like a little joy bubble. People say, they feel like they've just gotten to that, their whole body is nice and relaxed.
Yeah.
Mind's relaxed. Then they can absorb the good.
It's such a great feeling when you get to that moment. And by the hypnotherapy thing, I've learned to get myself in a hypnotic state, and I use the technique where you look up to your eyebrows, your eyelids, and then after and you breathe, and after a while your eyes start fluttering,
right,
and that's you're getting into that state. There was a retreat I went to 3 weeks ago, and there was a moment where they said, okay, we're going to take time, just be still with yourself. We have something else we want to work on, but we're clearing the slate. We want you to be quiet. So I was like, oh, okay. I'm going to just hypnotize myself. I got time. This is
exactly. On your own little meditation trance.
It was great. And I put myself in that state. I don't even know what I was thinking, but I was just, I was there, and I thought they were going to give us like a half hour. So about maybe 12, 15 minutes later, somebody gets on the microphone, and now I'm in a hypnotic state. I was like, what? Like you busted my peace and my silence. I wasn't ready for that.
You
But
went deep. You went nice and deep. They need to give you a little warning when you're ready. Come back at your pace.
you would think,
Breathe down.
they're telling us to do that. I would thought it would say,
And you did
you
it
know,
so well. Well,
it,
they know how well you can do it.
that was the first time that I really, really, really got there. And instead of saying, okay, we're going to wake up or we're going to go back to, no, they just got on. All right, everybody.
Live and learn. You can pass it in the suggestion box.
True. The stuff works though. It definitely gives you a reset. And I can even imagine if you're going into a stressful situation, let's say confrontation with a boss or superior, presentation you have to give, just do the breathing technique because it's going to get you, going to bring you down in a good way.
Right, exactly. And it's also something to do, like if you feel angry, because anger is that clue something's going wrong emotionally. You're underneath, you're worried about something or sad about something or hurt or whatever. But don't want to be angry when you talk to somebody or when you handle a problem. It's just they've found that your IQ goes down about 2 standard deviations when you get angry. So if you're like bright, when you're all angry, you're like getting down onto the lower average and you don't have your full deck to play with all your faculties. So before you actually act on anything, you're feeling angry, you want to be able to, get that to a relaxed state. And then you'll be able to think more clearly, really, and feel what you're feeling, figure out what you need to talk about.
Wow. That's great to know. If you're in a anger situation, you have a confrontation with somebody, you're being stupid. in a way. In a way.
You really run a risk,
I never even thought of that. Wow. Okay. I mean, it all happens. We all get angry, but as you identified in the past, that anger, isn't it a secondary emotion? Usually if you're angry, it's because of something else, right?
Exactly. It's usually, you have to ask yourself, well, what's under this? Am I feeling sad, hurt, disappointed, or something? Or am I getting anxious or apprehensive about something? You want to know what you're really feeling. You don't want to just stay angry because you can't do much about it. It's kind of like it's a clue that you're feeling something. Like hunger for the physical body is a clue. You need to nourish yourself physically. Anger is kind of your clue. It's okay. It's good to, feel your feeling, but you want to know more in depth what it is you really need and go to the deeper feelings and then express when you're collected. Mm-hmm.
Is it always when we feel anger, is it ever just anger, or it's always usually something else?
It's usually something else. I mean, you usually want to go below it. It's more like your cue, and it gives you some energy too. It gives you some, motivation. It's kind of telling you something's going wrong here emotionally. I want to take care of this and get feeling better. But usually just being angry, you're not thinking as clearly, and you need to take that time out, put yourself in time out to kind of ground yourself and say, well, what's really bothering me underneath that can be healed? I mean, if you express, if you tell people you're angry at them for something they do, they half the time they're going to be talking back and telling what makes them angry and what you're doing wrong, and it doesn't get you very far. So, but if you talk to them about your feelings, like you say, like, well, when such this kind of thing happens, I start feeling hurt. It reminds me of my childhood, of this, it triggers me. The person's likely to think about it and feel more compassionate and also have a better understanding of you, what you need. And versus staying at the top of it with just this, I'm angry that this thing happened right now, this little incident.
So with the self-care that we're talking about today, we identified the body, the mind. Let's talk about the spirit. What do we mean? What do we mean by that?
Well, how, I think once we talked about this, I'm going to kind of define it then is kind of your sacred inner space, your sacred place, your place of inner peace. I mean, to me, it would be the connectedness to good, to, to your higher power, to God, if you will, if that's, but, to connect to that. And
When it comes to spirit, is it also the grounding? Like we always talk about, you need to be grounded. Is that the spiritualism that's coming into play there?
could you say that one more time? What do you mean? Can you give me an example? Or
Well, like we say we want to be grounded.
uh-huh,
Grounded's just it's a better feeling. Some people, how do you ground? Walk in nature. Some would even say hug a tree. You're grounding yourself.
uh-huh.
Uh, some say that's very impactful. Would that come under the category of spirit?
Sure. I mean, we supposedly have like the chakras you've heard. I mean, good portion of the world is, would follow that about chakras. And of course, there's the earth, the below the root chakra, there's the earth, the connected to the
Mm,
earth, and nature. And of course, nature is very grounding, and that if you're walking in the grass or you're out in the nature, then you get that grounding of connectedness to the earth, to the planet, to the good.
how can you better connect with yourself? And the reason I'm asking that is for others. I found in my journey the last 3 years or so that I've better connected with myself, where I really didn't think I had a connection. And I think many of us, wonder how connected we are. Is it a feeling of just having faith in yourself? And I don't mean confidence necessarily, faith that I've got this. I've faith in the universe, whatever you want to believe. My
Right.
thought is
Your
universe.
higher power, connecting to your prana, your breath,
Right. Right.
you know, yes, yes. I think that just is so important to have that faith of, that there is purpose, that you have purpose, that you're connected to good. And yes, I mean, that's really important. I agree.
Probably one of the best ways to do that is through meditation. And a lot of us look at that and say, Yeah, meditate. Yeah, come on, I'm just sit there doing nothing. No, you're doing something. And same, I haven't tackled yoga yet. Completely on my radar, always is.
Mhm.
Back in the day, I would look at yoga and think, oh, that's athletics because you're doing different poses. That's
Mhm.
more of a physical thing, but not so much. It's more of this that's going on. And then
Huh?
there's the physical part of it.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, it, kills two birds with one stone, as they
Right.
say. Like you're getting, because it is a good physical workout as well, but
Yeah.
then it is working on your chakras or your all your um, inner peace
Inner
too.
peace. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that's I always heard that. Yeah. I don't go to church a lot. Back in the day, when I would go, people would say, peace be with you. Peace be with you. I'm like, yeah,
Right,
you too.
right.
I didn't know what they were talking about
Now you do.
until I realized I need that peace, that thing called peace.
Yes,
Yeah, good stuff. And
it is.
this is in your book, which is called Love Yourself, Love Your Life.
Correct.
And
Mhm.
along with everything else, it's basically a manual for your mind and your body. Um, how do we find the book and how do we connect with you?
Yes, I think the easiest would be to go to Psychologist in Virginia, spelled out with a plural for psychologist,
Mhm.
and .com, and that would have my kind of practice and my phone number and my emails, the book on there. You can get this, I think, at you can go on Amazon or any of the online things, and my new revised one is coming out in the bookstores soon. I
Nice.
think in a week or whatever. I don't know exactly,
And,
but you can find me that way. Psychologist in
and
Virginia.com.
and if you are searching on Amazon, which it's definitely there, it's under your pen name, AP Filosa.
Correct.
Yeah, just
Correct.
want people to know.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and thank you. It's always great talking with you. And
Yeah.
this the self
Talking
care
to you.
thing. Make an appointment
Yeah.
for a massage with a
Yeah.
psychologist. You can work with people anywhere on the planet thanks to technology and Zoom. Uh, Take care of yourself. You need to.
Absolutely. Make appointments with yourself on your calendar, like on your weekly schedule. You put your own self in some time for mind, body, spirit.
Absolutely. All right. We'll catch up next time. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.